It's a beautiful day, and it's a beautiful day to come together in celebration of our amazing students and educators. So thank you for being here for this award ceremony tonight. If we haven't met before, my name is Kate Gibo. I'm the director of the Cohen Institute here at Keene State College. And I was supposed to be co-emceeing the first part of tonight's event with Tom White from my team. He came down with, he's under the weather, so we're giving him the night off to kind of rest and recover. Instead, Professor John Sturtz and Catherine Winters-Michaud from my team are going to fill in and read a couple parts of the script for all of you. So thanks to them for stepping in. But we're gathered this evening to celebrate the achievements of students and educators this past academic year. So tonight, the Cohen Institute is going to kick things off, and we'll be presenting 3 different awards. So the Charles A. Hildebrandt Award for Excellence in Holocaust Studies, the Susan J. Herman Award for Leadership in Holocaust and Genocide Awareness, and our new award for Excellence in Teaching. And we're also joined by our colleagues from the Department of Holocaust and Genocide Studies, who will be inducting undergraduate students into the HGS Honor Society tonight. So every year, just as a reminder, we hold our awards ceremony in April in conjunction with Genocide Awareness Month. And we're here to honor those on and off campus who are working to promote peace and understanding in a world that is still riddled today with a lot of violence. So this is a moment of joy, of affirmation, of support of one another in the midst of all of that. Tonight's award ceremony was made possible due to the hard work of many people. Michelle Kiawa, who many of you met at check-in, she arranged all of the logistics and the catering for us this evening, so you can thank her for the snacks. Catherine from our team also set up registration in our live stream. And Tom White, Professor John Sturtz, and Debbie Bowie, who's with us tonight too, all joined me in reviewing the submissions for this year's Hildebrandt and Educator Awards. So thank you to everybody who served on the review committee. And I also want to acknowledge Dr. Ashley Green, Dr. Dana Smith, Dr. John Sturtz, and Dr. Lisa DiGiovanni, 4 for 4 tonight, all of you in attendance with us, our tenured faculty in the Department of Holocaust and Genocide Studies, for the important work that they do to inspire our students to engage with important questions about past and present realities. And I'm now going to invite John Sturtz, just rereading the new script, to the podium, who will announce the winner of the 2025 Hildebrandt Award. So thank you, John.
The Hildebrandt Award honors Charles A. Hildebrandt, Professor Emeritus of Sociology and founder of the Holocaust Resource Center, which later evolved into the Cohen Institute. This award is given annually in recognition of excellence in Holocaust studies. Keene State students submit essays, historical analyses, stories, poems, musical compositions, dance, film, or projects in theater and visual arts, exploring and expressing their own personal relationship to or reflections on the Holocaust. This year, we had a particularly competitive pool of submissions. We are pleased to present the 2025 Hildebrandt Award to Jack Barker, a second-year student who is majoring in mathematics. Jack's submission was a research paper entitled Nazi Necrocide, the Disturbance of the Jewish Grief in the Holocaust, which was composed for his honors course on thinking and writing. In his submission, Jack noted that his paper was inspired by his class's meeting with Professor Caroline Sturdy Coles, who visited Keene State to deliver the Holocaust Memorial Lecture in September. He noted that, quote, her experience as a Holocaust architect and the difficulties she faced in trying to complete her work in a way that was respectful to the victims of the Holocaust and their families gave me new perspective and the push that I needed to write a paper I was proud of, end quote. Jack's paper stood out to the review committee for many reasons. It offers a compelling analysis of the desecration of bodies and the disruption of traditional Jewish burial and mourning practices in Nazi-occupied Europe. Jack analyzes mass cremations, falsified information about deaths, and more, all of which compounded the trauma that Jewish families and communities experienced. The committee also noted that his work was carefully edited and drew insights from a variety of disciplines to support his analysis. Jack, congratulations. Please join us at the podium to receive your award.
Is also pleased to honor the recipient of the Susan Herman Award for Leadership in Holocaust and Genocide Awareness tonight. As many of you know, this award was recently redesigned and revised, so it now provides financial support for students who want to work as leaders to stimulate greater understanding of genocide. The recipient of our newly launched award in 2025 is Bianca Bostwick, who is a sophomore studying secondary education and Holocaust and Genocide Studies here at Keene State College. Bianca hopes to become an educator one day, and she holds a deep passion for educating students about genocide. Her funded project originated from her Education 231 course, in which students were tasked with creating a performance task appropriate for a semester-long project. Bianca then developed an experiential learning simulation geared toward high school students that centers around the 1948 United Nations Convention. The aim of the simulation is to help students situate the convention in its historical context and to understand the deep conflicts and competing interests that surrounded its development. Using the funding from the award, Bianca has been working under the guidance of Professor Ashley Green and alongside a local history teacher, Katie Littleton at Pinkerton Academy, who some of you might know, which is in Derry, New Hampshire, to bring this proposed simulation to life. So she'll be piloting it in Katie's class. And I believe the visit is scheduled to take place next week, and we can't wait to hear more about the outcomes. So Bianca, congratulations on your award, and you can join us at the front to accept your certificate.
The Cohen Institute's Award for Excellence in Teaching recognizes a teacher who has made outstanding contributions to Holocaust and genocide education in New Hampshire. This award spotlights teachers who are building a better world through their positive impact on their students, their schools, and by extension, their communities. This new award is possible thanks to a generous gift from Rick and Jan Cohen in September 2024. The recipient of this inaugural award is Evan Chizowski, a humanities teacher and theater director from Bedford High School. Amy Woods, a dean at Bedford High School, describes Evan as truly remarkable in both his passion for his subject and ability to teach students, and that he is tireless in his pursuit of knowledge and professional development. Eric Beebe, a colleague and a former student, states that Evan has not only been a force for good in his own right, but has led and inspired others to acknowledge and fight against genocide. Evan's unwavering humanitarianism often clashed with a reluctance that Eric had to acknowledge the suffering of those with experiences unlike his own. Evan would challenge me to think deeply, he said. He never made me feel belittled or uneducated for my stance. He invited me to volunteer as a student teacher for an English summer program he helped run in Poland, which profoundly changed the course of Eric's life. Evan frequently brings students and teachers to Poland, most recently to aid Ukrainian refugee children who had fled there. Evan feels a responsibility to do whatever he can to prevent atrocities through education. This stems, he believes, from his grandparents, who survived both Nazi and post-war communist occupation of Poland, and his father and other members of his family later achieved asylum status in the United States. He has partnered with the Cohen Institute as a learner, presenter, and study tour leader. He has also worked closely with survivors and witnesses, has been a panelist and consultant for theaters around the state, appeared on New Hampshire Public Television, has testified before New Hampshire Senate subcommittees, and was named to the New Hampshire Commission on Holocaust and Genocide Education. Holocaust survivor Katie Preston wrote that Evan is a true, wonderful, caring teacher, and any student who took his courses will be well served. Evan is not able to be with us today because he is celebrating his brother's wedding, but we will present his certificate to him in the near future. Let us give a round of applause in his honor. Now I'd like to turn the floor over to Dr. Ashley Green, Associate Professor and Chair of Holocaust and Genocide Studies, to lead the Honors Society inductions.
Right. Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to see so many faces here tonight. Thank you so much. So I want to just make a few remarks before we welcome our two newest inductees to the Zeta Chi Rho Honors Society. It's easy, I think, in the world we live in, to look at the news and feel outrage. Just over 100 years ago, a young Polish college student studying linguistics picked up a newspaper, read about the murders of more than 1 million Armenians, and about the trial of a survivor who had taken justice into his own hands by assassinating one of the leaders responsible. And when that college student learned that while this Armenian survivor sat in a court to be tried for murder, there was no law and no crime in existence that could hold someone accountable for murdering millions of their own citizens, he wrote in his journal that he didn't want to live in a world that allowed this to happen. But instead of giving in to despair and to outrage, he changed his major, not always a bad thing. He studied law, and he committed the rest of his career to defining the crime that we now know as genocide and to making that crime international law. And even in his darkest moments, as Hitler came to power in Germany, as he fled to America in the face of the Nazi invasion of Poland, and as he lost more than 40 of his family members in the Holocaust, he clung to the belief that if we fought for the world we wanted to live in, if we built the law one piece at a time, if we saved one life at a time, that we could encourage the best in humanity. That student's name was Raphael Lemkin, and the law that he gave the world was the law against the crime of genocide, and you know this well, our students here tonight. And I like to talk about Lemkin when we induct new members into our Zeta Chi Rho Honor Society. Lemkin knew what scholar of contemporary slavery Kevin Bales has said about the crime of slavery. Quote, "The outrage is a reasonable initial response to slavery, but is not a sustainable solution for its eradication." Faced with the horror and the helplessness that genocide and mass atrocity crimes inspire, most of the world responds with outrage. And as understandable and appropriate as that outrage is, only an elite few push past that outrage to take on the work of finding the long-term solutions that will save lives. And it requires a lot, as you know. It means that before you can save the lives that are endangered today, you have to study the experiences of the peoples whose lives have been lost in the past. You have to carry the weight of their memories, their traumas, and you have to compartmentalize the emotions that this brings for yourself to make space for the analytical research that looks for common causes and patterns of violence. It means you have to set aside simple explanations and hold complex realities in your mind. It requires patience, fortitude. And it means that "so what do you do" question on all of your first dates will be a little awkward sometimes. Raphael Lemkin lived the life that he did because he had hope. And those of you sitting here today, all of you who have been honored and recognized for awards tonight, and those of you who will induct into the Honor Society, you are the hope that Raphael Lemkin believed in so fiercely. The Holocaust and Genocide Studies major at Keene State College and the Zeta Chi Rho Honor Society, the only honor society in the field of genocide studies, are unique, and that's appropriate because you are unique. You are the few. You came to Keene State College with a world of majors at your fingertips, and with all of those choices, you chose to look at some of the worst of what our world has to offer. You chose to push past the outrage, to ask the difficult questions about what it means to be human, and you chose to take the hard path of finding difficult solutions to real and complex problems that can feel so much bigger than ourselves. And not only have you tackled these issues, you've done it while excelling academically and standing out from amongst your peers. Lemkin believed that we could build a world in which we saved the lives in danger of being erased, a world in which we could hold perpetrators accountable, and a world in which we could understand enough about the forces that make societies vulnerable to genocide to develop strategies to prevent mass atrocities like genocide from taking place. Each of you represents a hope for our society, and wherever you end up, classrooms, courtrooms, as advisors, for policymakers, in NGOs, in families, and in neighborhoods, you are our proof that Raphael Lemkin was right. And when for most of the world, that initial outrage has faded or shifted to the next crisis or atrocity, you will be contributing the solutions that save lives. I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate your families for this remarkable achievement. And I want to thank you for being the hope that our world really needs today. So I am absolutely honored on behalf of my department who's here tonight to welcome into Zeta Chi Rho, Amara Gates. And Sammy Goldblatt. Sammy. Would you like to make any closing remarks, or should we?
No, I just wanted to highlight for everyone, we do have one more event coming up this semester that I would love to invite everybody to. So Dr. Dana Smith is going to be giving a talk on Tuesday evening about her sabbatical research. So the title is The Fuhrer and the Bard, Shakespeare and the Nazis. So this will be a wonderful event to kind of end our in-person programming with for the semester. So we hope you'll be able to join us on Tuesday at 6 p.m. But otherwise, we just wanted to provide a little bit more space for people to mix and mingle tonight, grab some more cookies, grab some lemonade, and take a minute just to appreciate how far everybody has come this year. So thank you for being with us tonight. It means a lot to everybody here tonight.